Okay, so let's implement, let's start implementing the logic of the phase 2. Of course, we need to start with an if, and that will be if the phase 2 flag is true. So here is true, then we enter into the new logic. By the way, the problem here on when I was trying to build, if I build here, I have warnings, but it is allowing me to build. It was because the evaluation time here was a double. I have it like this, and that function needed an integer. So that was everything about it. So here, the phase 2. The first thing we need to know is how much time we have been in phase 2. Because in your instructions, you want to enter into phase 2 and then maintain the acceleration for another period of time. The thing is that we can't have 2 on timers. I can configure an on timer to 15 seconds and another to 5 seconds. So once we have an on timer, let's say in 10 seconds, we can only wait a multiple of 10. We can wait 10 more seconds, or 0 seconds, or 20 seconds, or 30 seconds. So I changed that second period or second time for entering into the market to a number of periods. Okay, so to see it more clearly, if we are not in a position, okay, open position, there, if that's null, that means that we are not in a position. Then I have this counter called entry acceleration counter, okay, that I have to increase by 1. In C#, I just can put ++ entry acceleration periods counter, and that was -1, and now it will be 0. Okay, and that means that, okay, why 0 or why -1? The first time when I enter into this phase 2 logic, I just trespass this threshold. So it's the first time I trespass the threshold. So I have 0 periods, 0 seconds with the phase 2 flag as true, or I have been 0 seconds in the phase 2. Okay, that was in it. That's why this counter was initialized to -1 here, -1, and now I am summing 1 to make it to 0. And normally you will want to wait 10. Let's say the evaluation time is 10. You want to wait for 1, 2, 3 periods. That means 10, 20, 30 seconds to see if the acceleration is still pretty much big in the market to enter into the market. Okay, so the first thing I need to know is to increase this periods counter to evaluate after that if that entry acceleration periods counter is bigger than or equals to the entry acceleration, sorry about that, the entry acceleration periods. Okay, this is a variable set by the user. If that happens, then that means that we have enough time with a lot of acceleration. Okay, then we enter in the entry logic. Okay, the logic for enter into the market. Okay, and we're going to have yet another if okay? We need to know if the acceleration is still greater than the speed, sorry, is still, sorry, that the acceleration is greater than this entry acceleration threshold. Okay, we have an acceleration threshold to enter into the phase 2, and we have an acceleration threshold to enter into the market. So we need to implement that. Okay, we are here in the phase 2, but now we need to know if we also have the enough acceleration in this moment to enter into the market. So if the phase 2 acceleration, what's that? We haven't implemented that. Okay, so let's implement it in just a moment. It's bigger than the entry acceleration threshold. In fact, it's not bigger, it's bigger or equals. Then we're going to have our final entry logic, and we're going to enter into the market and execute a trade. But how do we get this to phase 2 acceleration? Easy. Here, we enter into the phase 2. We need to calculate the phase 2 acceleration. Okay, and how do we do that? This is the same formula, but this is called phase 2 acceleration, and instead of using the previous speed, we need the base speed. Why? Because this is the important speed for us. This was the speed that triggered this phase 2. Okay, this was hard for me to understand. I had to read a lot of times the instructions you gave me. This is the base speed we're going to use for calculating everything in the phase 2. Okay, so phase 2 acceleration equals current speed divided by the base speed. And then, okay, there we have it. Phase 2, if the phase 2 acceleration is bigger than the entry acceleration threshold, then we enter into the market. You told me that just buy, don't sell. To keep it simple, to be honest, everything was complex except buying and selling. So I just implemented from the beginning buying and selling. Let's make a new variable. This bar is like you don't have to put int double each time. I can put just bar, and it will take whatever type of variable I want. It's very useful for sometimes. A variable called trade type. I put this underscore here to don't, because trade type is an object, a built-in object of cAlgo. So to separate those two, I put here an underscore. The trade type will be if the current speed is bigger than 0, that means that the market is going up. We're going to have a buy. A buy is an object built into cAlgo. Okay, trade type buy. And if the current speed is less than 0, we're going to have, of course, a shell. Okay, if you know JavaScript, this is very well known. This kind of syntaxes, it's easier. This is like asking here, the current speed is bigger than 0, okay, then do this. If it's not, then do that. That's all. That's just one line for making it buy or sell. So it wasn't complex at all. And okay, we execute our trade here. Okay, there's a lot of conditions, they all met. We have the enough acceleration, we maintain that for certain amount of periods, and the phase 2 acceleration is still bigger than the entry acceleration threshold. So we execute a market order. Okay, and it is taking the trade type. So we have here our trade type, that it could be buy or sell depending on the direction of the market. The symbol, okay, just put symbol and it would take the current symbol of the chart. And we have the volume, okay. So that would be it to execute an order. We just have one problem. Our volume is in lots, 1 or 0.1. And cAlgo has the particularity that it just accepts, it doesn't accept lots, but nominal values like $1,000 or $10,000 or 10,000 euros or whatever. So to convert that, we have a very useful method called symbol.quantity to volume, and it converts automatically the lots to quantity. Okay, but as you can put 0.015 lots, you can put I want to buy $1,500. No, you have to put $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Okay, so to be sure that you get those kind of like round numbers, there's another method here, normalize volume. Okay, okay, that's just a security measure to be sure that you are executing an order with a correct volume, and the broker is not going to say, hey, this is not valid, and so I won't execute your order. Okay, you executed the order, and that will return a result. Okay, if that result is successful, it's a built-in method, pretty cool, pretty easy, then in the variable open position that we have been talking about a lot about that, we put the result dot position. It's an object inside an object. We have the object result that we get from when we execute an order. That object has inside the position object that we're going to store here. So, and there that object gets automatically updated each time. So, sorry, here's okay. So we can see anything that happens with that position. And just one thing that we need to implement. Sometimes it gets harder to all those keys. And after the second one, I think, let me check that. Let me think a little bit. Yes, here. Okay. If the phase 2 acceleration is not bigger than the entry acceleration threshold, then that means, sorry man, you weren't fast enough. I don't want to enter into the market. That means that, of course, our entry acceleration counter, okay, is equals again to -1. And in case we are not in a position, if of a position equals null, we also want to say, hey, the phase 2 is not longer, we go back to phase 1. So phase 2 flag equals to false. Okay, so This is all the entry logic.